So when to cite things solely as a website? How do you know if something is just a website? Typically, things that are coming as a PDF download. So if you're looking at anything that is giving you the full text of the information you are to read as a PDF that you can download, that's not a website. That needs to be some sort of book or article or other type of publication that you would have to cite as that type of resource. Websites are things that do not have print copies. You can only access them through the internet. Typically, you're finding them through Google. And so some common examples to look for, these are things that typically don't have a person as an author. And so you are looking for that corporate or government agency as an author. And so you need to think that way. So the biggest thing with websites that students can get confused about is the company or the organization that is providing you the website is both the who and the where. And so you need to kind of be able to identify that. And so once again, this is a lot of looking around at what's on the screen. If you don't see a person listed with it, then you need to think, okay, it's this company or organization. So for this one, talking about coronavirus forbearance for your student loans. Hopefully none of y'all have to look at this yet because you're in deference because you're still in school. But you're not getting a person with this site. You're also not getting a specific date for it as well up here at the top with the title of the web page itself. So coronavirus and forbearance info for students, borrowers, and parents is the title of the web page. The website is this federal student aid. Does say it's Office of the U.S. Department of Education, but it is better to look at the more specific person who works in the U.S. Department of Education and cite that if that is what's coming as the website, rather than going back to that U.S. Department of Ed. You're not seeing, so you see a couple of dates throughout the article itself, but you're not seeing a date for the entire one. And so that's when you're scrolling down to the bottom and looking to see, is there a copyright date down here somewhere? Lots of times it's way down at the very bottom in this footnote info that you don't ever read. This one doesn't have a date. And so sometimes websites, that's how it is. And if you don't have a date, you don't have a date. And so you can't give information you don't have as a copyright date. So it's best to leave that info blank, but double check rather thoroughly before you say you have no date. So your bibliographic info is going to be coronavirus and forbearance info for students, borrowers, and parents, federal student aid, HTML link. That is your entire bibliographic info. Another one, so this one coming out of National Wildlife Federation, so that would once again be your who and your where. American red squirrel, so talking about that, little article talking to you about squirrels. This is another one to where you're not seeing a date up here of when this information was updated. With websites, do remember, typically if you look at the end of the content you are reading on the page, sometimes there's an updated date there. If that's not there, which this one doesn't have that, once again, you're looking down at the bottom to see if there is a copyright date. And this one, once again, doesn't have a copyright date down here. So again, your entire bibliographic data is American red squirrel, the National Wildlife Federation, and your URL link. This one, excuse me, allergies. Okay, so University of Illinois, Watch Your Garden Grow, talking specifically about pumpkins. I'm ready for fall. Is anybody else ready for fall? So if you were wanting data and stats on pumpkins of what they are and how you grow them and different kind of things, this would be a good article for you. This is another one, doesn't have a person. So this University of Illinois extension would, again, be both your website and your author. And so, but this is one that I do believe, if you go down here to the bottom, you are seeing this copyright symbol of the C and a circle, 2020 University of Illinois Board of Trustees. And so that's who owns it. Really, for the where, I would put this University of Illinois Extension Office because that is the website name. And so where it's coming out of. Then finally, this one, so Indeed.com job hunting tips. So this is another one, you're not getting a person up here at the top. You're not getting a signed article down here at the bottom saying that John Smith wrote this article. So it's really Indeed.com is the company, and your where. So it's the author and the where. This one does have a specific date though. So June 1st, 2020 is when this specific web page, web article was created. And so that would be your date. 14 job hunting tips to get you the job you want would be the article title. And so that is your complete bibliographic data. So you're not seeing journal, magazine titles. You're not seeing anything saying it's an ebook. It's really just a web article. Could be good to use, but you got to look around sometimes for those dates before you decide to cite it as a website.